Good morning. First of all, how's the team shaping up? What's the news ahead of Leicester on Thursday?
Not seen him, Rich, yet. Get 2 days off.
Any likely injury news or people coming back?
No, sorry. Yeah, no, I've been catching up with the physio. No, we're all in good nick. We're hopeful John Fleck will be involved on Thursday night, so he's got a couple of days for a couple of clearance sessions, a couple of bangs and bruises from the weekend, a competitive game, and but I'm believing from the medical department that we're all fit to go this morning and in preparation for the game on Thursday.
Great win, obviously, over the weekend, Chris. But one thing that came out was the online post directed at David McGoldrick. I know the club issued a statement yesterday, but coming as it does off the back of what we saw with Wilfried Zaha as well, how concerning is it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's incredible. It's, not just the timing of it from a personal point of view for David is ridiculous, and it's incredible. That these things are still happening. And I've always said regarding social media, I'm not the biggest of fans. Understand the importance of it worldwide, but certainly more has to be done by the people that power these media outlets to work in conjunction with the police and the authorities and punish heavily these people that feel they have the right to go online and abuse people, whatever for. I think we've all been victims to it, as you do in the job that we work in. But that doesn't say that it's right and it's ridiculous. And as soon as everybody gets to the bottom of this on social media and the overall situation regarding abuse for whatever it is, whether it's racism or whatever situations, anybody feel that they have the right to publicly abuse people or just abuse people in any way, shape or form is terrible and needs to be dealt with severely that we can do to eradicate all this.
The police have obviously said they're liaising with the club. As far as you're concerned, is that where it goes now? It's for the club and the police to try and get to the bottom of it?
Yeah, definitely. And as I said, severest of punishments needs to be handed out to the people. People talk about education. I'm a big believer in that, obviously, but there has to be a price to pay for these people that do this or think they have the ability to do it. And I said, we think we've all been part of it. And maybe that's a little bit extreme what I'd like to happen, but I'll leave them opinions to myself. But it certainly needs to be dealt with. And I'm sure, the clubs, David did the right thing straight away. The club put out a statement, and hopefully the authorities from here on in can take it forward and deal with it in their best way.
And what's David's reaction been? Have you had a chance to have a word with him about it?
No, not yet. But knowing what the player and the person is about, he'll be deeply disappointed, and I should imagine he'll be saying the same things of what we're all saying. And he has my the players and the football club's full support. He's an intelligent guy. He's a fabulous footballer, and he's most importantly a great human being to work with. And he'll understand it, but he still doesn't make that right. And as I said, he gets our full support.
And on the pitch, we all saw what he means to you and the team over the weekend.
Yeah, we're all delighted that it was a special moment for Didsy. Personally, he is a team player, the ultimate team player, I would say. But individual glory shouldn't be taken away from him, and it certainly wasn't. And I think you saw the reaction of all the players and all the staff afterwards. They were absolutely delighted for David, and I'm sure all our supporters would be. He's a special player. He's well respected at the football club and by our supporters. I think if you speak to them, they'll tell you how much they appreciate him playing for our football club.
What about Leicester City then on Thursday night, Chris? Because you said at the time, you've said since that was a tough lesson about what the Premier League is all about on the day. How much has your team changed since that day in August?
Well, you like to think you learn lessons through experiences, and that was certainly a difficult experience. Enjoyed the game. I thought we went toe-to-toe with a fabulous football team, some really talented individuals, and an outstanding manager who's managed at the highest level for a long time. And we went toe-to-toe. We wanted to be competitive when we come into the division. And obviously, that was one of the first games of our season. And got undone by 3 bits of magic. The game, I didn't think there was a lot in the game at the time. Just getting back on level terms was great, and we went searching for a winner, but got undone by a brilliant finish by Harvey Barnes, somebody we know well from his time in the Championship, and obviously from the first goals point of view, James Maddison, an incredible ball and a brilliant finish by Jamie Vardy, who in these parts of the world we all know, and I've got to say I admire him immensely.
From that game, did you suspect that Leicester could go on and perform consistently as well as they have done this season? Well,
they've certainly got the tools to do the job. They've got some great young players. The academy's strong. They've brought players through the system. They've invested well, and they invested in the right manager as well at the time. And to attract the likes of Brendan Rodgers to Leicester was a great coup for them. A lot of money that's been invested into the football club, Premier League winners, and want to continue that and move forward like everybody does as a football club, wants to progress and keep moving forward. And there's not much more you can do after winning the Premier League, so you have to regroup and then go again. I suppose the season afterwards there was a change in manager. And now they look set to be a really successful club in the top 4, 5, and 6 of this really tough division for many years to come. A lot of good things happening there, and a lot of good things going for them. And as I said, got all the tools to do the job. So not surprised at all, and the consistent levels that their players have shown has been brilliant right the way through.
And finally from me, Chris, I wonder if I could get your thoughts on the financial fair play rules, given what happened with the verdict being overturned for Manchester City yesterday. PSG had a reversal a while back as well. You're a team fighting the Premier League. You've said yourself, punching above your weight because you don't have the financial firepower that these big clubs have. So what
we're not threatening, Rich. We won't be threatening them rules. We won't be threatening them limits. I assure you.
Hey, on a wider scale, though, Chris, does it need to be reviewed? Because you do wonder whether it's fit for purpose right now.
Listen, I've got all on getting a result on Thursday and looking short, medium, and long term. My view is there has to be sustainability in it, and there's different ways of looking at it. It's not like your first love, American football, where it's that's right, isn't it, Rich?
Always the Premier League, Chris.
I'm not sure about that, mate. yes, where it's obviously draft system and everybody's off a level playing field, and that's the way we work in this country and obviously Europe. So there's established clubs, there's people that would like to get into that sort of group at the top end of European football. If they have the money and it's shown that they have the money, then I don't believe that they should be punished for investing into their team, into their football club, into their community, but only if they've got the financial sustainability to do that, and that goes right the way through. And obviously, you see so many football clubs, spending more than they've got. So if they have got it, for me, they can do, but there really has to be a real level of investigation and scrutiny to make sure that the people that have the money are there for the long term. And I'm sure in Manchester City's case, that is obviously what they have.
Brilliant. Best of luck Thursday, Chris.
Cheers, Rich. All the best.
Cheers.
Touchdown.
Love it. How do you follow that? Morning, Chris.
Morning.
Just following up on some of the David McGoldrick stuff again, is it important that people like David McGoldrick and Wilfried Zaha continue to call out racist abuse when they get it, so this as a conversation doesn't go away?
I think definitely racist abuse. Yeah, I mean, any sort of abuse. Why should anybody be abused if it's not right and over a social platform and there's no reason, no weight behind anything? I don't get it. I've, as I said, I think us being in the public eye, I've always and being involved in football, players, managers, other supporters do get it, and it's ridiculous. And it shouldn't happen, and it should be a lot more done by the regulators to stop this happening. But definitely, people can't stay silent. I'm proud that David's flagged it up. I'm not surprised. And Wilf's flagged it up, not surprised from them too. And nobody should have to receive and go through this. And they should. And when they do, they're very brave in what they're doing, and they should have everybody's support 100%.
And yesterday, the Den Blades fanzine started setting up Blades Against Racism, a new group where they're trying to obviously do something positive to get racism out of the club as a whole. Is it important that the more people that get on board, the more message will sink in, both from the players at the top and from supporters groups like Den Blades?
Yeah, it's got to be a combination of everybody. It's our football club, and nobody wants anything to do with that. That approach and that thought process that some of the supporters might have. I'd like to think we haven't got an issue with it as a football club, but if there is, it needs to be dealt with pretty quickly. So a combination of football club supporters, major stakeholders of the football club. So who are the stakeholders? The biggest ones are the supporters. I've always said, players, managers, CEOs, owners will come and will go, but the supporters will be there, always be there. I've done for over 130 years and always will be. So they're the biggest stakeholders. So in conjunction with the football club and the players and the main actors, we have to make sure that we're very strong on our approach and our message.
With results across the weekend, you've practically secured a top 10 finish. Admittedly, there could be more achievements still possible, but what does that mean for Sheffield United and the progress you're making? And could you have genuinely contemplated that at the start of the season?
Well, 3 left, Adam. As you can understand, our approach is going to be consistent. Reflection at the end of the season. I did that last year. I had half a go at it after the Ipswich Town game, and I had a full 100% go of it when the Leeds Villa result came in. And we'll reflect at the end of the season. There's so much more to play for. We need 3 big performances. We need a huge performance on Thursday night, and the players are looking forward to it. They're in good rhythm. They're in good nick. And as I said, we'll reflect at the end of the season. But I think one thing that you have to say, of course, for a newly promoted side to be in our position for a newly promoted side to get to the magical 40 points with, I suppose, there's about 10 games left. It's a great achievement, but I want more out of our season, and the players understand that, and I do believe that they want more out of the season. I don't get the impression that they're gonna down tools after the weekend, and I'm sure you'll see that in their attitude and their approach on Thursday.
You only had 24% of the possession against Chelsea at the weekend. Are you pleased then, obviously, with the effectiveness that your players show both off the ball and on the ball with what you managed to achieve?
Yeah, stats are sometimes misleading. You know what I'm going to say about the biggest stat, so I don't really need to go too much about the other thing. I think we always recognise that some games we'll have a little bit more possession, some games we might have a little bit less. But it's about your approach in and out of possession. It's about your being clinical in both boxes. Leicester won the Premier League on about 35 to 40% possession. I'm not so sure if you speak to Jamie Vardy, he'll be too bothered about possession and not being over the 50%, or the owner, or the manager, or most importantly the supporters. I don't really think that any of our supporters would be too bothered that we only had 24% possession on Saturday tea time. They'll just be looking at the result and be delighted what we're producing and what we have produced.
Thoughts on Leicester post-lockdown? Obviously, they've only had one win in 6, but still very much fourth, and suppose that shows just how strong they've been over the course of the season.
They've allowed themselves to have a couple of maybe results that they didn't want, but I've looked at the games and fine margins. I think they easily could have beat Everton. Really unfortunate. The game on over the weekend against Bournemouth, one mistake gets punished, boy gets sent off, and all of a sudden they have to go and chase the game, and they get on the counter attack by Bournemouth. So how the Premier League is, it's unforgiving. If you make a mistake, as we found out against Leicester in the first game, Maddison's brilliant, one of the best through balls of the season, and a fabulous finish by Jamie Vardy, and a brilliant finish by Harvey Barnes. So it is unforgiving, the Premier League. So we're expecting them to bring their best game. They've got an incredible target to fight for. So there'll be no respite in terms of the quality that we're facing, and the attitude of a team that still got a great chance of achieving Champions League football, which will be a brilliant achievement for Brendan and his players.
You've mentioned Jamie Vardy a couple of times. He's on course for the Golden Boot, 23 Premier League goals this season is some achievement. How pleased are you for him as a local lad who's put in the hard yards to become one of the best strikers in the country? I
have. We have this United Wednesday stuff that flies about, which is still flying about, and I understand it, but from a professional point of view, and watching him in his career, it's been a magnificent effort by him. To get released by the team that you love is an absolute hammer blow to him, and to get off the canvas and prove people wrong by getting his hands dirty in the way that he did at Stocksbridge. Then he went to Halifax, a club that I know well, onto Fleetwood, and then for Nigel to take a punt on him as the first £1 million player out of non-league was a huge statement, and one that's been absolutely fully justified by Nigel, by the football club, but most importantly by the player, to prove himself in the Championship, into the Premier League winner, England international, serial goal scorer, and still looking at him now, he still looks to have the drive and the determination to keep going right till the final breath he has as a footballer. So I think that's an incredible example for any young player. You know, I go to the pub quite often after we've had a win, and it makes me smile. Sometimes you might be sat in company and people will say, "Yeah, I could have made it," and I was a bit unlucky and I had an injury and something didn't happen to me. But you know what? And sat in the pub and watching the TV up in the corner and going, "Yeah, that could have been me." Well, it wasn't you. It weren't you, because that's what I would say. It wasn't you because you didn't do it, because you didn't get off the canvas like Jamie Vardy did. You didn't go and prove yourself. You didn't take the setbacks and keep coming back and set back and keep coming back. You didn't. So you deserve to be in the pub and have the career that you've had, not the one that Jamie Vardy's got. So shut up. So that's what I'll be saying to him. And I've got a few pals like that I sometimes now and again just have to say, you know, you need to be quiet and get back in your basket.
Just hopefully not this Thursday.
Listen, he's a great player, as I said, and keeps going and keeps scoring, and so he deserves whatever, you know, 100 Premier League goals, international, all the stuff, all the plaudits he gets, and he 100% deserves, even though it's from a blade to an owl.
Chris, thanks for your time.
Cheers, mate.
Morning, Chris.
Morning, Adam.
You okay?
Yeah, good, thank you.
How do you see the picture at the top end of the table at the moment? I suppose we're all expecting plenty more twists and turns. The top four's not set in stone. How do you see it?
I think on every level, it's an exciting finish to the Premier League at both ends of the tables. There's so many teams. I think there's 5 or 6 teams that have 6 or 7 teams that have not got anything to play for, possibly. There's still FA Cup involved for the top teams that are still in the competition. There's still a relegation battle to be sorted out, which we're absolutely delighted that we're not involved with. And up the table, there's still, you know, positions that people are after and after more. Not just me, but everybody else. And even then, I've always said that even maybe teams that you might think have got nothing to play for, well, they've got that professional pride, and managers don't manage in the Premier League without wanting to win everything and every game. So even though you might look at a few teams and think, well, you know, they haven't got anything, they have got something to play for, and so that's what makes it the Premier League, and that's what makes it so exciting going into the last 3 games.
Do you think you're capable of getting into the top 4? Do you think you can still do it?
We're capable of winning games of football. We're capable of drawing. We're capable of losing games of football. So, reflection at the end of the season, when the final whistle goes at Southampton, and that's what we're looking at. Not looking at anything else apart from that game, that preparation now in the next 2 or 3 days to Leicester, a really tough, difficult game. And one that we go into in good spirits and in good nick, and positive. And why shouldn't we, in terms of what we've done in the last 2 or 3 games? But we need to make sure that, you know, the performances are right up there. That's got us those performances and results against, you know, Chelsea, Wolves, and Spurs.
And just finally, Chris, from me, can I ask you about the impact of Ben Osborn since he's come into the team? What have you made of his performances?
Yeah, he's been excellent. Not always easy, being up and down the country, watching the team go well, watching John Flake play well and Enda Stevens play well. But the professionalism has been amazing. The work that they do on the training field and in the gym to make sure that they're right. And Ben's a fantastic example to any of the players that when the doors open, he has to be ready physically and mentally to take his chance. And he's definitely took that opportunity with both hands.
Thanks, Chris. Good luck against
Cheers,
Leicester.
Adam. Thank you.
No other hands up.